Fishing jokes, fish jokes. Q. What do fish and women have in common? A. They both stop shaking their tail after you catch them. Q. What did the fish say when it hit a concrete wall? A. Damn. Q. How do you communicate with a fish? A. Drop it a line. Q. Why did the fish cross the road? A. 'Cause it was hooked. Q. Why did the vegan go deep sea fishing? A. Just for the halibut. Q. Why are fish so smart? A. Because they swim in schools. Q. What does the Pope eat during Lent? A. Holy mackerel. Q. How do fish go into business? A. They start on a small scale. Q. What is the richest fish in the world? A. A goldfish. Q. Where does a fish end up when it flies? A. A magic carp. Q. What do you call a small fish magician? A. A magic carpet. Q. What do fish use for money? A. Sand dollars. Q. Where does a fish keep his money? A. In the river bank. Q. What did one hillbilly say to another? A. I got a new fly rod and reel for my wife. Best trade I ever made. Q. What is the fastest fish in the water? A. A moto pike. Q. Where do fish sleep? A. In a river bed. Q. What is the difference between a fish and a piano? A. You can't tune a fish. Q. Which fish can perform operations? A. A sturgeon. Q. If fish lived on land, in which country would they live? A. Finland. Q. What is the difference between a catfish and a lawyer? A. One is a bottom-dwelling, scum-sucking scavenger and the other is a fish. Q. What do you call a fish with a car? A. A carfish. Q. What swims in the sea, carries a machine gun, and makes you an offer you can't refuse? A. The codfather. Q. What do you call a fish without the eye? A. FSH. Mother to daughter advice. Cook a man a fish and you feed him for a day. But teach a man to fish and you get rid of him for the whole weekend. Give a man a fish and feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and he will sit in a boat and drink beer all day. The only reason your husband likes to go fishing so much is that it's the only time he hears someone tell him, "Wow, that's a big one." True love. A man and his newlywed check into a mountain resort by a lake. The desk clerk notices the just married sign still on the car. As soon as the man gets the luggage out of the car, he hops in a boat to go fishing. He is out all day, comes back for a quick supper, picks up his lantern, and goes back out at night. This goes on for a couple of days when the man happens to stop by the desk. The clerk starts a conversation with the man and mentions his behavior. I know it's none of my business, but I was wondering why you weren't having sex with your new wife. Oh, I couldn't do that, she has gonorrhea. Well, what about anal sex? Couldn't do that, she has diarrhea. There is always oral sex. Nope, she has pyorrhea. Wait a second. If she has gonorrhea, diarrhea, and pyorrhea, why did you marry her? That's easy. She also has worms, and I love to fish. Fishing versus sex. You can catch and release a fish, you don't have to lie and make it promises. When you go fishing and you catch something, that's good. If you're making love and you catch something, that's bad. Fish don't compare you to other fishermen neither and don't want to know how many other fish you caught. In fishing you lie about the one that got away. In love you lie to still be friends after you let it go. You don't have to necessarily change your line to keep catching fish. You can catch a fish on a 20-cent night crawler. If you want to catch a woman you're talking dinner and a movie minimum. Fish don't mind if you fall asleep in the middle of fishing. Doctor. A small town doctor was famous in the area for always catching large fish. One day while he was on one of his frequent fishing trips, he got a call that a woman at a neighboring farm was giving birth. He rushed to her aid and delivered a healthy baby boy. The farmer had nothing to weigh the baby with, so the doctor used his fishing scales. The baby weighed 21 lbs 13 ounce. My eyes. A guy calls his boss and says, I can't come to work today. The boss asks why and the guy says, it's my eyes. What's wrong with your eyes? Asks the boss. I just can't see myself coming to work, so I'm going fishing instead. Speeding ticket. A cop pulls a guy over for speeding and the guy's defense was, I was just going with the flow of traffic. The cop's response. Ever go fishing? Yet. Ever catch all the fish? Lure. A couple of young boys were fishing at their special pond off the beaten track. All of a sudden, the game warden jumped out of the bushes. Immediately, one of the boys threw his rod down and started running through the woods like a bat out of hell. The game warden was hot on his heels. After about a half mile, the young man stopped and stooped over with his hands on his thighs to catch his breath, so the game warden finally caught up to him. Let's see your fishin' license, boy. The warden gasped. With that, the boy pulled out his wallet and gave the game warden a valid fishing license. Well, son, said the game warden. You must be about as dumb as a box of rocks. You don't have to run from me if you have a valid license. Yes, sir, replied the young guy. But my friend back there, well, he don't have one. Ice fishing. It was a cold winter day, when an old man walked out onto a frozen lake, cut a hole in the ice, dropped in his fishing line and began waiting for a fish to bite. He was there for almost an hour without even a nibble when a young boy walked out onto the ice, cut a hole in the ice not too far from the old man and dropped in his fishing line. It only took about a minute and wham! A largemouth bass hit his hook and the boy pulled in the fish. The old man couldn't believe it but figured it was just luck. But, the boy dropped in his line and again within just a few minutes pulled in another one. This went on and on until finally the old man couldn't take it anymore. Since he hadn't caught a thing all this time, he went to the boy and said, Son, I've been here for over an hour without even a nibble. You have been here only a few minutes and have caught about half a dozen fish. How do you do it? The boy responded, Ru raf ru reap ra rums rarm. What was that? The old man asked. Again the boy responded, Ru raf ru reap ra rums rarim. Look, said the old man, I can't understand a word you are saying. So, the boy spit into his hand and said, You have to keep the worms warm. Drunken ice fishing. One day a rather inebriated ice fisherman drilled a hole in the ice and peered into the hole and a loud voice said, There are no fish down there. He walked several yards away and drilled another hole and peered into the hole and again the voice said, There's no fish down there. He then walked about 50 yards away and drilled another hole and again the voice said, There's no fish down there. He looked up into the sky and asked, God, is that you? No, you idiot, the voice said, it's the rink manager. Man overboard. A man is out fishing in his rowboat when suddenly a passing speed boat raises huge waves and the man's oars fall overboard. He is stranded out in the middle of the lake. After about 2 hours, he sees another rowboat going by with a man and 2 women in it. The first man yells, Hey buddy, can I borrow one of your oars? The other man yells back, They're not whores, they're my sisters. New priest. One day a nun was fishing and caught a huge, odd-looking fish. A man was walking by and said, Wow! What a nice goddamn fish! The sister said, Sir, you shouldn't use Lord's name in vain. The man said, but that's the species of the fish, a Gautam fish. The sister said, oh, in that case, it's okay. The sister took the fish back home and said, Mother Superior, look at it. The Gautam fish I caught. Shocked, the Mother Superior said, Sister, you know better than that. The nun said, that's the name of its species, a Gautam fish. So, the Mother Superior said, well, give me that Gautam fish and I'll clean it. While she was cleaning the fish, Monsignor walked in and Mother Superior said, Monsignor, look at the Gautam fish that the sister caught. Nearly fainting, Monsignor said, Mother Superior, you shouldn't talk like that. Mother Superior said, but that's the species of it, a Gautam fish. Monsignor said, well, give me the Gautam fish and I'll cook it. That evening at supper there was a new priest at the table, and he said, wow, what a nice fish. In reply, the sister said, thank you, I caught the Gautam fish. And Mother Superior said, I cleaned the Gautam fish. And Monsignor said, I cooked the Gautam fish. The priest looked around in disbelief, quite shocked, and said, I'm starting to like this F-King place. Fisherman and the Mermaid. The three fishermen and the mermaid. 3 fishermen were fishing when they came upon a mermaid. The mermaid offered them 1 wish each, so the first fisherman said, double my IQ. So the mermaid did it, and to his surprise he started reciting Shakespeare. Then the second fisherman said, triple my IQ, and sure enough the mermaid did it, and amazingly he started doing math problems he didn't know existed. The third fisherman was so impressed he asked the mermaid to quadruple his IQ. The mermaid said, are you sure about this? It will change your whole life. The fisherman excitingly said yes, so the mermaid turned him into a woman.